Right, coaches, let's talk dribbling. I know some of you hear that word immediately and think about players that are greedy, don't give the ball out, players that don't pass, but we've got to flip that, especially in the foundation phase. And dribbling is all about decision making, it's being creative, it's being brave, and it's really important that we protect that. And it's so important, and I'm going to go through a load of sessions during this, a load of reasons why it's so important, and ultimately think about who your favourite players are, the ones you like to watch. That's what we want to help create. Now, what we're going to go through during this is 3 key concepts as well as a load of sessions, but ultimately, why does dribbling matter at this age? Now, 3 things I've nailed this down to. We want players to be brave. We want them to have the courage to take players on. So they need to develop that skill set to dribble and the confidence to dribble as well. So looking at their skill development, it will help build their balance, their ball control, their ability to scan, their ability to manipulate the ball and move it in different directions. The better players get at doing that, the harder it will be for defenders to get the ball off them, the more skills they can learn and develop, and the more effective they will be in their games. And then finally, the third one, mental toughness. Players are constantly under pressure during a game of football. The more comfortable we can make them under that pressure and the more confident we can make them under that pressure, the more chance they have to develop and the more chance they have to succeed. So we as coaches have to develop this mental toughness in them and help them through our coaching, our behaviours, our practice design, and also how we behave on a match day and how we act on what we expect from these players as well. Now, it's really important, especially at younger ages, but I think at all ages, we help players fall in love with the football. Now, there's some studies done that show when sessions involve dribbling and they get to play with the football and have more touches of the football, their engagement will go up. For those that complain about, oh, my players don't behave, they don't listen, they don't do this, they don't do that, half of the time it's because they're not engaged in what you're doing for them. So you always need to look at yourself as a coach rather than looking at players and blaming players. Then their skill development will go up through deliberate dribbling practice. It's not just about a step over. It's about a first touch. It's about ability to manipulate the ball in different directions. It's about the ability to manipulate the ball into different ways with different parts of your feet. The better players get at that, as I've said before, the more effective they're going to be during their games. This is why dribbling is so important. Now, if you could design a dribbling practice that is game realistic and appropriate numbers and appropriate sizes, players will tend to get 1,000 more opportunities to touch the football in a session. Now, I always say you're looking at least 2,000 touches in an hour session anyway for these age groups, but this could get 1,000 plus dribbling just from getting those bits right. Now, the study that was carried out in 2022 was on 10 and 11-year-olds, and they let them set up and create their own dribbling practices. Now, what happened from this was the players took ownership over what the practice would look like, what the session would look like, how they would learn to dribble, what they would do, and this ownership was really important for them. It increased their engagement. The engagement from being able to dribble and take loads of touches of the ball in general also got them more involved in the practice. But the key thing from this study is that players felt that if they were a better dribbler, they would push themselves more. If they found dribbling in the other parts tough, they would go at their own pace of trying to develop. So when you've got players of different ability levels in your session and you're trying to differentiate the session for them, dribbling practice can help this happen, because players will tend to go at their own rate and then you can coach them and push them. As we increase their confidence, they'll try more and more things. So putting dribbling in those sessions will really help you differentiate and challenge the different ability levels. Now, when I look at that and go to a kind of a nice simple warm-up practice that I'll run through for a minute or so, this is a nice easy one. Our ultimate members on Patreon, I'll give a 5-6 minute description of this session with coaching points, progressions, etc. So for those that are ultimate members on our Patreon channel, every session that's in this YouTube video, you'll get a 5-6 minute explanation of it rather than just a quick run through now. So for those that want more details, the Patreon channel is about offering you that next level of support. So just have a look it up, TSC Coaches Club Patreon channel, 20p a day, and you get loads more stuff. Now, on this session, you just split the group into 2 different sets of colours. You can have 3 if you want, and they all have a football and they're dribbling round. I've done this in a circle, and the reason I do it in a circle is because there's no corners for players to hide in. They have to go back through traffic. And then the first thing they're going to do is just dribble around, try different skills, loads of different touches on the ball using different parts of both feet. And then as you progress it, you challenge them now to, can you dribble at a player of the opposite team and perform a skill? When we're doing that dribble at a player and perform a skill, they've now got to not just think about the technical part of the skill, they've got to think about their space, awareness of opposition, the speed they're going at, where the space is after they've done the skill, so the difficulty level increases, and so does decision making. Now, after you've done this, and they've done this for a few more minutes, again, give them different challenges, you can then progress it again to, right, if there's one player in front of you in your 1v1, take them on. But if you see 2 players of the opposite team near you, drive through the middle of them. So now we're teaching players, dribble with the ball, dribble with different ways, try and beat a player with a skill and accelerate into space. But if you see 2 opponents there, can you drive into the space between them? Really simple practice drill. You can put in it step overs, turns, whatever you want, but it's a nice way to get everyone on the ball and dribbling. Now, first key concept really is, can we build the confidence in these players first? We've all seen the kid who's amazing with the football, but as soon as they get told to pass it, they kind of shrink into themselves. At the younger ages especially, the confidence to dribble has to be encouraged, not taken away from them. And that's where this shouting pass, pass, pass takes it away from them. If they try and do something and it goes wrong and we criticise, it takes that confidence away from them. They won't want to try it again. So there's ways as a coach you can help build confidence in young players when you're working on dribbling. Now, the first one right at the bottom is the foundations, is do loads of 1v1 sessions. Change it each week. You can just move goals in different places, change the area size, change their start positions. We've got loads of 1v1 stuff on the Coaches Club that you can have a look through, including a book on and a free ebook on 1v1s. But build their resilience through loads of little 1v1 sessions, loads of different challenges within that 1v1s, and always make sure they play against a different player in that session as well. Don't just get them playing against a player of a similar skill level or physicality to them. Get them playing against loads of different players. Second, once you've done this, you now need to remove the fear of mistakes from these players. So they want a safe environment to be creative in. A safe environment to be creative in is one where they're trying things and they're not getting criticised or hammered for it. Now, there is, depending on their age, a level of coaching that will go on about decision making. So if you've got a 10 or 11-year-old who's trying to dribble around 4 or 5 players in front of them and losing the ball, you might question their decision making there. But when you're under 7s, 8s especially, you should be encouraged players just to have a go, take players on, take players on. What will happen is someone will lose the ball in front of your goal and the other team will go and score. That is the defining moment for you as a coach and for your players. Because if you criticise them for doing it, or what you're doing, that's a silly idea, don't do that there, they won't dribble anymore. If you say, great try, like the fact you've tried to dribble, and then you might coach them and say, oh, great try to dribble, but maybe next time can you accelerate away a little bit quicker, but I really love what you tried to do. Then you're coaching and you're creating an environment where they're improving and they feel comfortable to have a go at things. Then, and it kind of goes alongside that, is a celebrating the brave decisions. So reward them when they attempt things, not just when they're successful. So if they try to take someone on 1v1 and they just get beaten, praise them for it. So like, I love the attempt, I love the fact that you tried it. If they tried a new skill, they tried a double step over and they've never tried it before and it doesn't quite go right, praise them for being creative and trying to do new things. So this will help build confidence in the players straight away. Then, from this, here's a little session that is great fun for kids. And I call this one the gauntlet, like Gladiators. Anyone that's kind of my generation would have seen this in Gladiators and probably in the newer one. But split them into 2 teams of 3 and 3 little squares like this, probably 10 by 10 with a little mini goal at the end. The defenders aren't allowed out their square, and the Blues have got to take it in turns to try and get to the end of the gauntlet and try and score in the mini goal. As soon as they get into the last square, they're allowed to shoot whenever they want. So that gives them some finishing skills alongside the dribbling. And then they just go back to the start, and you can give them 4 minutes to see how many goals their team can score. Nice and fun for all ages. And then if the yellow team do win the ball, their job as a defender to get a point is to win the ball and then try and pass it to one of their other players. And that's the end of the game, and they get a point. If a yellow player just kicks the ball out, they don't get a point for that. So play it for like 3-4 minutes and then swap them over so that now the Blues defend, the yellows attack. They get so many opportunities to practice loads of different dribbles, loads of little different tricks and skills. It's really good fun for them as well. If they find 3 too difficult, you might just have 2 zones. But just give it a go. It's a great fun session, especially for the first part of your session or even as a warm-up. And loads of different dribbling skills and experimentation in there to help you start to build their confidence. Now, the next concept. Have we got a purpose to our dribbling? It's not just about doing step overs for the sake of it. It's not about doing all these little flashy tricks. And this is something you get street footballers, unbelievable, like technical ability and skills, but aren't always effective in the 11-a-side format of the game, because it's about, is what you're doing effective? Now, it doesn't just mean beating your player. It doesn't just mean can you get a nutmeg in or a panner in. It's right, when I'm dribbling with the ball, am I moving away from pressure? Am I protecting the ball? Am I opening up a pass for a teammate? Am I committing their defenders to create space somewhere else? Am I creating space myself by this movement? So what is the purpose over purpose over tricks? So the first thing players need to think about is scanning. They need to understand their surroundings first, because that will dictate what they do with their first touch. It will dictate what decision they're going to make. It will dictate knowing where the players are and what they can, maybe can they beat them with the first touch? Can they turn and face them up so they can dribble them? As well as who are the opponents surrounding me? Am I quicker than them? Am I more skillful than them? Have I got a lower centre of gravity? How will I beat these players around me? Next is that decision. Shall I dribble or shall I pass? I have a real simplistic way of doing this with my under-7s. If they get the ball from the goalkeeper and there's 2 or 3 players in front of them, that's probably a better time to play a pass. If there's 1 in front of them, because I'm encouraging them to dribble, always take them on. Okay, always have a go. And if you lose the ball, that's okay. But we have to work with players on that decision making of when to dribble, when to pass. Under 7s, 8s, it's not as important because we want to encourage dribble. 10s, 11s, we really need to think about dribble or pass. But if they've had 7s and 8s where all they've done is dribble, they'll be more effective at 10s and 11s when the decision to dribble is the right thing to do. And then finally, execute. So we've scanned, we've decided we're going to dribble. The aim and objective of that is to get out into space with the ball under control. It's not, oh, can I panner someone? Can I make someone look silly? The objective is get the ball, you're in a tight area, beat the player, escape into space. Or beat the player around the penalty area, get your shots away. But whatever you do, it's got to be done with control. So that is the next part, and the next concept that we look at is this. Now, a real fun, simple way to get this practice and to work on these things, especially dribble and pass, is this game where it starts with a 1v1 and then we go 2v1, then a 2v2. So you're seeing this practice. The blue player passes out to the yellow. The yellow is now trying to score and they're playing 1v1. If the blue wins it, the blue will go and score in the other goal. As soon as this player, the ball goes out of play, the other blue joins in to make it a 2 versus 1. So the yellows attacked first, the blues attacked second, and they've made it a 2. And now the yellows are going to attack again to create a 2v2 situation. So what you're creating here is loads of different situations, loads of different decisions they have to make. But now we've upped it just from dribbling to do you dribble or do you pass. What you do then is they swap ends so that the yellows will now pass to the blues. And what you'll see in this situation is actually what happens if the player loses it. It still goes in the same order. So blues attack first, yellows will be the second attack. So in this situation, the yellow wins the ball and goes to score. but the blues attack first, so now the yellows get to attack and they're 2v1. Because there's 3 attacks, you can see who wins the game. Because if it ends up in a draw, no one wins the game if it's 1 goal each. But if one team scores twice, they're going to win this game. And you can keep rotating it around. And again, there's progressions that we'll talk about in the Patreon members chat as well, for those that want another progression or 2 on this practice. So, the final concept we're going to kind of look at is controlling your body position and how you use your body position to move the ball. So first of all, we've talked about get your head up and maintain awareness of your surroundings, but then a low center of gravity, so get your knees bent slightly and stay balanced. The ability to dribble is the ability to twist and turn and change direction quickly. So the players that can stay balanced and adjust their balance from side to side quickly tend to be the better dribblers. Alongside this, you also need soft touches on the ball. You need to be taking keeping the ball close to your feet as often as possible. It's really important that you use small, soft touches. Now, smaller, soft touches need to be with different parts of your feet. So if we go all the way back to the start, and the ability to manipulate the ball with the sole of your feet, the inside, the outside, your toes, your laces. The ability to do that and keep manipulating the ball and moving it in tight areas will help you become a more effective dribbler. So the more practice you can do in tight areas where players are in tight situations and have to keep the ball close, the better and more effective dribblers they will be. The players, especially that you get at younger age groups that are physically dominant and just kick the ball into space and run, will struggle as they move on and get older, because they will lose the ability to do that and they won't have the close control. So focusing on the close control is really, really important. Now, as we do with all our YouTube videos, anyone who's watched them, that's the kind of 17 minutes or so that you get for free. For those that want another 10 minutes or so of this video, this is for our Ultimate members on Patreon. Patreon, basically, we will give you a session plan every week, a full session plan with a warm-up, main part of your practice, and then a game part, as well as what to do if you haven't got enough players, what if you've got odd numbers, how do you coach the goalkeeper, what's your coaching style in that session. We get that every week, as well as a load of tips, resources, extra videos, and obviously you get the extra 10 minutes of this video as well. We've recently just given out challenge sheets, so 30 different passing challenges you can use in small-sided games, and as well as different variations of those games as well. Now, in the last 10 minutes or so of this video, I'm going to go through a couple more slides which have got some tips and progressions on it. We've got another session as well that you can use. I'm going to go into in a bit more detail, and then we've got 6 different small-sided games that you can use for dribbling. So for those that want to look at the Patreon, it's 20p a day, nothing more than that. So 20p. So for the cheapest one, and you can cancel it at any time. If you sign up for Patreon as well, you can go historically back through everything we've given out over the last year, and there's loads and loads of stuff on there. So for those that have just listened to this bit, thanks for having us. Please follow us on social media on the Grassroots for Greatness podcast. And all of the stuff we do. For Ultimate members on Patreon, this video is now going to carry on for you for the rest of what I've got to talk about.